Good afternoon, everybody, and welcome into Season 2 of the Challengers Elite Series. This is playoff time. Now, we've gone through about 2.5 weeks of structured, nonstop action for Call of Duty, and now we have to crown ourselves a European champion, but it will take some time to get through. And, of course, we have Day 1 of playoffs, and Day 2 tomorrow will conclude with the Grand Finals. I'm Spaceman, and I'm joined by Dream Crazy, a.k.a. Ellen, a.k.a. my favorite person on the damn planet. How you doing, Ellen? Welcome in.
You're too kind, Sean. I am so excited. Like, for one, this is my first time crowning a champion ever. Okay, so we're excited to do that. But yeah, stage 2 is crazy. And Sean, I have to say, everybody that is here to like essentially competing, only one team has returned, and that is the Minnesota Rokkr Academy squad, with the exception, of course. But yeah, really excited to see what we get into today, and I'm here for it.
I think it's funny that not only do we have one team that's made the return, but there's also one team that somehow got here that nobody expected their rise to fame to be as quick as it was in the past week or so. But while we have these matches for you to get through, we do want to talk about the bracket itself, because that is where all of our attention will be drawn for the early part of today. And of course, this is how Europe now structures itself. It's Vengeance versus Doge Nation in the semifinals, and then in our second semifinals, Rokkr Academy versus Ultra. And that second matchup of Rokkr versus Ultra will naturally be where our attention turns to for the first match on the mainstream. Again, we will keep you updated with Vengeance and Doge Nation, and there is still plenty to discuss about that best of 5, which Ellen and I will talk about. But Ellen, looking at the match we're going to be keeping our eyes on early on, Rokkr and Ultra. I mean, both CDL teams, right, picking up squads. This is a big season for CDL franchises in the Challenger circuit. Now we find ourselves with a traditional matchup in the playoffs. Talk to me a little bit about Rokkr and how they found themselves here.
Well, of course, these are the returning champions, and these guys have consistently across the board have been slaying out. And this time around, it's Real who is their top performer, and we know MVP Lucky, he was going crazy last season. I mean, again, across the board, Sean, they have been consistent and looking great. Realistically, they just need to continue to close out in their series and respawn. All across the board, they've been dominant, and yeah, going into the contested team, I mean, this is going to be a hard team to beat.
Yeah, it certainly is. The respawns, I think, is key, obviously, for any team trying to compete for a championship this weekend. But you look at Rokkr, how good they are at hardpoints. You look at their GvU2. They're 100% 4-0. They go to Berlin. They're 4-1, so you get an extra game there. But even though it is a loss, it's the same win side for Berlin and GvU2. Their Bocage is really the only one that we haven't really seen them tested on. They're 2-1, but it could be a toss-up. You catch them on a bad day. So Tuscan, if that finds its way into the map pool, things get a little bit more interesting. But in general, it just seems this Rokkr Academy team has found the rhythm for success. They've had success in the Cups. Yes, they came in second in Cup 7, but they lost to the team we're about to watch against them, that being Toronto Ultra Academy. And Toronto Ultra are no pushovers either. This is a very well-structured team. They have made the right adjustments, and it's a clear reason why they're in this position, Ellen. I think that this best of 5 could really determine who we see in the Grand Finals.
Yeah, and I mean, granted, there has been some speculation and, of course, some talks of maybe a little bit of a slowdown from Metals. Essentially, all of his stats, he is the weak link of the team, but again, still not weak. I mean, they're still performing. They're still here. And they're obviously are returning champs for a reason. So regardless, that's really what I'm going to be looking for, just in terms of who's going to be stepping it up. But still, on the other side, though, for the Toronto Ultra Academy squad, no surprise here, Harry, Vortex, Furious, and Beans. And Furious, this is again another playoff day for him, because originally stage 1 he was on that playoff squad, and then now he here makes it with Ultra Academy, who again, this is that old money form squad that didn't make it from stage 1, but now here they are. 3rd overall in seeding, 4-3, and again, 18-10 map count. And Beans, you said it before, Sean, the magic of the power bean. Like, he has literally have insane slaying power, like from stage 1 to stage 2, like all across the board. Beans said, one thing you'll learn about me in the future is that I don't lack passion, and he has been proving it. He said that to you. He has been proving it all year long.
Yeah, he really has. And one of their keys to victory for today going against Rocker, again, this is a matchup they have had time and time again. But if Metals is slow, if the subs, at least half of the subs on Rocker are not pulling their weight, that's where the AR battle becomes that much more important. And Furious and Beans can really take over the series. And I kind of turn towards those S&Ds, those 2s and 5s, where Desert Siege, this team is unreal. They're 4-0 in Desert Siege. Their Tuscan's basically a toss-up. Again, they are 3-2, but they've only played Bocage once. So the S&Ds, the middle part of this series, yes, we're going to bookend it with the control. We'll get to that discussion, but this series could really hinge if we go 5 like we have before with this matchup. Toronto Ultra Academy are probably feeling very good going into a Desert Siege S&D, let alone a Game 5 if they get pushed the distance. And Ellen, I think both you and I agree, this series has probably the biggest likelihood to go the distance out of our first round matchup.
Oh yeah, essentially, indeed. Like every single time these squads play against each other, like they're going to a map 5, and I mean, last time around, even it was. Well, I guess if you want to count the cup, it was Toronto Ultra Academy that just did take the recent cup on that map 5, which was Gavutu. Excuse me, it was the Bocage you mentioned, but here time around we see Hardpoint is going to be the start, and that's a map that you don't want to play Rocker Academy on, of course, but
No.
given the options that you have, I'm kind of confused, Sean. What do you think about this map pool? I'm kind of confused seeing Gavutu.
I mean, I think this is actually a terrific start for Rocker. This is one of their better, if not their best, hardpoint maps alongside Berlin, which they get both of. So if you go to a Game 4 and the series is hanging in the balance, you're probably giving the nod to Rocker in those early respawns. On the S&D, maybe that favors Toronto, but it does get mixy. And of course, you know, Rocker has yet to play a Bocage S&D, at least in Season 2. And the Tuscan Control is also Rocker's best best control map. They're 4-2. So I'm looking at the early respawns, and for Ultra, again, this is a series that I would not be surprised at all if we go the distance to a final Game 5 S&D. But just looking at the layout itself, like a lot of these map mode combos do favor Rocker, and their recent performances have proven that they're not flukes. The consistency is there. So it's going to be a huge test. If Ultra Academy can come out and steal the Game 1 hardpoint, this series is on its end. But if Rocker do what they've been doing all season, it could be a very scary day for Ultra.
Yeah, no, I agree with you there, 100%. Because you look at Gavutu and Ultra is 2-1, of course. But yes, Berlin, Search and Destroy. Excuse me, Berlin. Yes, Berlin Bocage we haven't played, but the Search and Destroy, that's going to be the ticket, of course. And if you are Ultra Academy, the good news is I mean, overall for the season, they were 8-2 in their searches. So they say, well, time and time again for years that Search wins those championships. So yeah, it's really such a toss-up. But I'm really glad that essentially for the control, you don't want to play Toronto Ultra Academy on the control map. Like they have they have Tuscan for that. So give or take, that is really going to be kind of like that. That's going to be like the make it or break it, because both teams evenly on the Tuscan on the control, like that's all across the board.
They're both good.
Yeah, this is gonna be scary either which way. But I think in terms of the map, the map mode combo, it does favor the Rocker.
We had a discussion last night about Vengeance and Doge, and of course we will keep you updated with those. But we were talking about the different map modes, and you know how specifically some of those instances or some of those combinations could spell out the beginning of a series. There was a lot of different variables going into play, and it's similarly here where it seems that early on, the opening hardpoint and Game 4 really favor Rocker. Both S&Ds probably favor Toronto. So it all comes down to a control. It all comes down to that Tuscan control, which was the same conversation we were having about Doge. So it really, this entire series, this entire best of 5, we could be looking at a 1-1. I could bet on that. It's going to be a 1-1 going into the control, and that Game 3 will decide this series, in my opinion. It really comes down to Tuscan, and I love it. That's the beauty of like playoff scenarios, is all these teams are so good on all these maps, but it's just about what potential picks and bans you do get. Looking at that conversation now, Ellen, talk to me a little bit about Rocker step here, kind of what the keys to victory outside of just what the subs need to do. They are getting their better hardpoint map early on. If they're able to capitalize, go up 1-0 on Toronto, then you're looking at a very strong S&D team on the other side of the ring. How can Rocker approach this series early to get ahead of the jump?
Well, realistically, you kind of said it there. Like, if they can go up they need to take this map 1. Like, there's no question about it. They're 4-0 on Gavutu, like across stage 2. They've consistently across the board, like you said, the ARs just need to step it up. They need to take this map 1 because that Tuscan control is a little bit swing for them. You know, they are good at it, but still, Tuscan, the map overall, hasn't particularly. They haven't played it in Hardpoint, and in Search and Destroy, they're 2-2. So 4-2 on the control aspect. Like I said, with Ultra, that's going to be the swing. But you need to take the map that you know that you're good at, and that's Gavutu.
Yeah. And the key for Rocker in these S&Ds today, I think, really does come through Real. Like, he is a risk taker. I call him a high wire player because of how excellent he is in making plays, both in the respawns. We've seen him, you know, break open massive hills and hard points, but in the S&Ds, he is not only one of the most interesting players to watch, but the plays he's able to make near mid-map, whether it's picking up kills, cleaning up trades, or just creating opportunities in the gaps, Real can absolutely turn this series on its head by his own. And Rocker have found lightning in a bottle with him. If he's able to make a couple of plays in this S&D, and they do take that opening hard point, oh my God, it's a 2-0 lead for Rocker. So Toronto Ultra definitely going in, knowing they need to step it up, obviously in the sub department, but the ARs are going to be that fundamental underlying consistency with Beans and Furious. I think they're going to have an excellent day. And, you know, that beat we hit on for the majority of the early start of this season, it's going to have to be a team effort. Nobody's going to be able to slack through the start of these playoffs, let alone try to make it a run for the championship. They have to show up 100%. And looking at kind of some of the keys for Toronto, being able to dictate the pace and the respawns against Rocker, especially if Metals is struggling, that has to be their MO. They have to approach Rocker with that fervor and aggressiveness that they've had in the last cup, the way they were able to take it all the way the distance. But we can only wait and see, Ellen. The fact that we're getting Gav early on is just a wonderful shake of Call of Duty action, but also having Paradox and Cleaner, because not only are these guys two of my favorite people, two of my best friends, but also they're just two of the best observers in the game. We love them for doing what they do, and we thank them for giving us the best action. I'm so excited to get into it. It's the first game of the playoffs. Europe on board, one of the best regions in the world. Ellen, I'm so ready.
I am so ready, and we are hopping on board with Steve-O, and man, this is a guy, let me tell you, I saw one of his teams. He literally has been here over the last couple years in this position, so can he take another grand final? That's going to be the question.
Yeah.
Steve-O, I love that guy. Amazing sub, but opening it up here now with Real, it's the contest for that first hard point, of course, and what an even battle, of course, that we expected it to be. We know what's on stake for these players, but winning the break, of course, it's Rocker Academy. Metals doing a fantastic job with that AR in hand, locking it down. And this was that player that we said needs to step it up here, doing a fine job of doing just that.
And we've seen a couple of switches in the roles as of late where, you know, you're looking at one of your second entry subs being able to pick up that extra AR, especially on a map like Gav, where it certainly worked out for Rocker. And Rocker being a team that was basically contesting for first place in their group before Vengeance made their ridiculous run at the end, similar to how Doge was able to turn it around. But early on, it is Metals on a 4 spree, and this is what you want if you're a Rocker Academy fan. Oh my, Metals on 6! He's opening it up for the boys in purple. All of a sudden, it's a 40-point swing, and Rocker are inside the hill.
Well, okay, stepped it up, he shall, but let's see if Steve-O can do anything about it. He does get an opening pick, and that is going to open it up for his team to maybe push on through, but Beans is still last alive there, trying to push through the middle and thinking about the spawns, but still not able to win the engagement. I'm not exactly sure what the play was there, but you see Harry, number 2, rotating over, getting that early beach side towards that money hill. We know that's so important, but at least the gunfights in the front do clear off the point, and now it's Rocker that is spawning that back green area, and Harry is going to have to win this gunfight onto Lucky on the rotation.
Yeah, it's unfair to talk about Rocker Academy without also giving a nod over towards Lucky, how excellent he's been, not only in years past, but he's had just a smooth transition into Vanguard this season, as well as Journey, one of my favorite players to watch back on the Atlanta FaZe Academy roster in Modern Warfare. I think really one of his best performing years, and he has continued that success all the way towards this season. I mean, this team is stacked top to bottom. A lot like Ultra Academy, they're very good between the numbers, and they are very good at putting points and kills on the board. Already inside the hard point, but a break through the back for Furious might slow the bleeding down just a bit. They have to clear out Lucky, and they will do so. Nicely read on a 5 spree for Furious, and Ultra Academy desperately needed a break, and they finally do get it.
And what a break from Furious too. Just able to singulate a player and then push right through the mid-cut area and then essentially isolate Rocker Academy in the back. That is such a perfect break. A little bit, but either which way, Rocker's not getting too much time on this, and Ultra Academy is set up. So even though they are down essentially in points, they're still in a position to take the lead here. So realistically, Harry now, P1 is going to have a lot of pressure on him, but Journey does win that gunfight. And again, this is going to be a little bit mixy here, but Journey's going to have to essentially should wait for his team. I was going to say he kept running there. Journey, where you going? But now Ultra Academy are set up on the site, and it's going to be looking on the Lucky here to break.
One of the tendencies for Rocker Academy as of late in their hard points is they're more than keen on giving up the early opening hill if it means they can secure spawns and try to work through the back so that back line never gets broken. And that's why Journey is so available to push up quickly and try to find trades, because all your other ARs are still filling in their lanes in mid-map. Now you are looking for a quality break, as Ultra Academy have done a very nice job building themselves back into this opening hard point. Early on, still about 20 seconds to go in this one, but Real will find his way inside the hard point. Slide challenge doesn't work out. Ultra Academy on the clear. They hold the spawns, and while this tendency remains, you are looking at Rocker outside at mid-map to, again, win the opening rotation over to P5 as we go to the docks. It's going to be up to the ARs in those lanes. Steve-O has to back off a gunfight, but he's going to be met towards P1, and it looks like Rocker will be in position for the opening time.
Yeah, indeed, and it was a really good hold, of course, to swing the lead factor, and you see Furious just trying to get a nade off onto Metals, but Metals doing a fantastic job all game of locking it down. Does connect, and it's going to try to make the break through the back, but Harry able to at least get the trade. It's going to follow up in suit. So now the Patience hit comes in from the front, and Steve-O actually coming from that boat side. We might have a perfect collapse here for Ultra Academy as the kills do come through, and that's 3 down for Rocker. So now push is going to come slowly in, and Ultra Academy did have a clean break. 25 seconds left on the point.
I mean, this is a good hold from Ultra. Nobody's been able to contest. Steve-O not peeled out of position. And you do have spawns back there for Rocker, but just not a lot of clean touches inside the point. Finally, Journey will get into position to potentially find Steve-O around the bend, but Steve-O wins it regardless. And here comes the Automaton in his hands. He's able to convert it for 2 early on. That's a lot of time in the point, and a lead back for Ultra Academy, the first one they've had so far in this game. And finally, they're able to get themselves out to P1 early on. They're going to win the rotation, and they are bullying Rocker Academy back into their own spawns. The 3-man setup inside the point is good, and it's a win on that transition for Ultra.
Oh, man. And not only that, but yes, completely set up. Like, look at every single lane is covered. And as I say that, Steve-O does fall, but what a good job is he doing flexing in this game. And now Furious has to worry about all members of Ultra coming in through the, or excuse me, of Rocker coming in through the front. But regardless, still Lucky is holding down the site, and everything is looking pretty clean, pretty good for him as Ultra do break on through, but still, regardless, it's Ultra just holding down the line. 15 seconds left, and rotation's coming on through. Journey's going to be looking to try to hold on, but no, it's Steve-O that does take him out. Now it leaves Real left alone on the rotation.
This is a huge P2 for both teams. You could be looking at a 200-point mark for Ultra Academy, essentially putting this game one away in very interesting fashion, how that might change the storyline of this series. But for Rocker, they need 40, 50 points here. And the battle contests out at mid-map. It's Lucky. Put some shots over towards the bottom of the boat as nades fly out. Real in a position to potentially contest, moving his way in towards the point with an MP40 in hand. Here comes the challenge for 1, maybe 2. Not able to line up the shots, but Journey is there for the connection. And Furious working at the top of the boat. That is a beautiful retake up top from Ultra Academy, but better pressure underneath by Rocker. They still have the time they're fighting over, but it's these ARs getting in position to potentially cut down the subs. Real quickly meets his demise, and Metals is spotted. So as quickly as Rocker get into the point, Ultra Academy get Beans and company in position to immediately contest, push out those subs, and look at the benefit of it. 170 to 114. What a break by Ultra Academy.
Yeah, this is for Rocker. They're going to have to get set up. And again, of course, we know this is the money, one of the money hells. But Steve-O, of course, running through that cut does break down Real. And Journey there for the trade. So at least Metals does secure that spawn in the back. So now Rocker, they do have the back jungle spawns. And Journey's going to zone forward a little bit. But still, the kills do come through. And this is good if you're Rocker Academy. Journey's going to push forward onto that P1 site. And essentially, if you're Ultra Academy, You could go through maybe one more break here, Sean, but essentially you don't want to give up too much time and give up too much positioning. So now you see the members of Rocker Academy are spawning on that new point, and now spawns are getting a little bit mixy. So do you want to invest too much time into this point if you're losing the gunfights? Lucky's slaying out, and now he's pushing out, and now he's already set up for new. So this is where things can get really, really spicy if you are Ultra Academy. If you let Rocker Academy run away with the map control.
Yeah, you had to be worried about the flip, but you're also playing for 2 hills ahead. So P4, again, where we will be swinging over towards with 9 seconds to go. We thought that, Boat might essentially put this game away for Ultra, but it really will come down to P4. If Rocker can somehow hold this, if they can keep those spawns locked at the back, but then also you're going to have to worry about Metals pushed out so far in front. He just needs to hold his position at P1 because he is kind of the catalyst for getting back on the rotation at P5. Here comes Furious through the front, and it's a break for Ultra. At least one member inside. He wins the opening gunfight, almost the second, but there's the trade. Now Ultra fly their way in, and more importantly, they have a chance to put this at 200 points. 30 seconds still to fight over, but I'm more worried about that mid-map pressure because Ultra just need to keep someone on the outskirts, and it looks like Harry might be the factor here. So far, it's chaos in the front of the point. Steve-O trying to stay alive, but the break there from Rocker. Now what do you do if you're Ultra? What do you invest into this? Do you use those resources for more points, for more bodies in the hill? I think you give this up and you play for new.
Yeah, no, I completely agree with you. And that break happened essentially when Metals won his one-on-one in the front of the hill, and his teammates just essentially got flooded from the front. But yeah, those nades, good break from Ultra, and now bringing it back into this game. Real, of course, clearing him off the point. The rotations for noon, you see Streaks essentially not earned, well, not the glide bomb at least. What's G8, what's not? No, we know now. But Journey is early on that rotation, so he can do some damage here. Even though Ultra Academy are set up, he cuts down one member now, and then essentially all he has to worry about is Furious. Furious does get taken down, and now Rocker have the spawns for the back. Realistically, Harry is the only one that they don't know. Maybe that they do know in the boat, but Lucky does spot him down, and Real has control over new. Rocker is looking in to be a good position to swing the lead in their favor.
I mean, they are, but they have to worry about that rotation. I don't care what the points look like. Mid-map pressure is going to be huge, controlling the 50-yard line right now. It's Journey out towards the top, but Harry trying to work his way in for the contest. And again, there's the break for Ultra. So now the spawns are out towards the back for Rocker. They're going to have to make that long swing over to P1, but you're worried about the parallel AR from Harry. So Real needs to pick this up immediately, or at least have Lucky in a position to watch the cross. Journey can't win the gunfight, and somehow he's able to escape up in time, but their numbers quickly fall for Ultra. Rocker Academy make their way inside the point. Furious with a sub. Furious for 1, maybe 2. The contest is in. Both teams trying to fight over this P1 hold. I mean, this could really decide the game here. And finally, Rocker worked their way in. And look at the minimap spread. It's a 3-stack for Rocker. They have the early time, and they might have the opening gunfights with that win for Metals.
What a crazy win for Metals that was. And now Steve-O's going to try to break on through. Now he does push in, but Metals does take him down, and a huge 2-piece from Metals to secure it. So now on a 5 spree, Beans does take him down, but Real's there for the trade. It's Rocker Academy that does have control over this P1, and the fights do ensue, but still, 20 seconds left remain on this point. They have to fly on in, and they're going to go so now. So Lucky's going to look to hold on, and he does get 1, and now his teammates to follow. So again, another wipe for Rocker Academy, bring it in, and then swinging the lead in their favor.
Yeah, squad spawns there for Ultra as well. But the early time, in the final few moments of this hard point, it's Rocker who have worked their way back into it, back towards the bottom of the boat. It's Lucky trying to work through the back. I mean, he could play spoiler here and completely disrupt what Ultra have had going. He just needs to buy his time, but Harry picks it up so well. Real tries to work his way inside the point, and he still has no one in the position to help. Finally, Journey's up, pushed up, but where are the ARs right now for Rocker Academy? It's 235 to 234, lead back for Ultra. They found their way in the point. They have ARs position. Metal's trying to find someone at the top of the boat, but Steve-O will win the gunfight. You need a break if you're Rocker. Ultra were able to watch the flank through the back, and finally it pays off. A couple of more players do fly in, but that might be it. It's 249. A contest. Finally, Rocker are in, but Ultra have the last word. It's Rocker who are able to take it 250 to 234. Okay, yeah, we got a bug. It's okay. It's Ultra. My brain broke, but yes, Ultra 2 win the map.
Oh my goodness. And that was so crazy because the lead was getting stolen away from them. I mean, it looked like it was just so close. Just to contest, they were just about to run away with it. Ultra was literally just about to run away with that, and what a comeback from Rocker. I mean, we know that this is their map, but this is the map essentially that Rocker needed to win, and Ultra took it this time around. So that was the win that they needed, and man, they are looking great.
Yep, it is Ultra. Sorry for the confusion. It's a small bug. My brain was like, excuse me? Anyway, Ultra Academy, just ridiculous composure down the line, and that read from Harry was absolutely crucial. Lucky was trying to get into position to potentially cut down those back subs, and anyone rotating into the point, you get a pinch there from Rocker, and all of a sudden, you probably win that P2 hold, and you win that game. But the wherewithal, the poise, the confidence in the pocket from Ultra, just ridiculous down the stretch, and whenever Rocker got close, Ultra was there to put him away.
Yeah, no, exactly. And you know, that's what is so amazing to see, especially in playoffs. Like how well do these teams respond to like that adversity, how they respond to that pacing. And I mean, ultimately, Rocker, they started inching their way forward and essentially kind of getting that map control presence, but ultimately, like, Ultra was just able to cut that down and put a stop to it. So clearly they've been doing their research and their homework. I mean, essentially playing a map consistently over and over again on broadcast. You do your homework, you do your VODs. You do what you need to do to conquer. And they did that. They took essentially Rocker down on one of their best maps. And that's not something that's easy to do. But yeah, props to them. And moving forward, I'm really excited to see this series heat up.
I mean, recency bias may be a thing, but Ultra have proven that they understand Rocker to a T, and they have proven that in the Cups. They've proven it in recent matchups, and it's no surprise here. They're able to take the opening hardpoint, and that was a key to victory for them. If they can steal the first respawn, they can move into an S&D and put themselves in a position to go up 2-0 in the series. All of a sudden, Rocker Academy are shaking their heads saying, where did we go wrong? And that was the question. Can the AR step up? Can they make a play? You saw in the end, Harry with the Automaton being able to pick up Lucky on that rotation, and that was the question for Ultra. Can they make a play with those ARs when they need to? And they absolutely did, and they've proven it. Now we go to a game 2 S&D, of course, where all of a sudden this entire series lands in the balance of a game 2. If Ultra manage a 2-0 swing and they put Rocker on their back feet going into a Tuscan control, I don't see a situation where, you know, we then have a conversation about, you know, Rocker dominating their way through the rest of the series going to a game 5. Like, Ultra needed to come out today and put Rocker away the same way that Rocker needed to handle their business in the opening respawn. So early on, Ellen, I'm very, very impressed with Ultra, but being able to bring to the table. In general, though, any thoughts going into the game 2 S&D?
You know, one of the points I remember on the last broadcast that Alan and Austin were making was that Rocker Academy have this tendency to not win on their smaller maps. So the fact that they just lost on their bigger map, again, as we go into this S&D, I'm like, man, we need those subs to set up because obviously it is Bocage. So it's like, I don't know. Can Rocker essentially match that slaying power of Beans? And I mean, I'm looking at Search and Destroy, I'm looking at Harry, okay, because he gets first bloods like crazy. And I think the last time around, essentially, that we saw them play here, okay, in group play, they went last map on Tuscan on the Search and Destroy, and it was Harry that dropped 15 kills for the loss, and it was Metals that dropped 2 for the win. So it's like, you look at maybe some certain like S&D statistics, like statistically whatever, who are those players that are going to really shine? And I'm going to be looking at Lucky on the Rocker getting those first bloods, and of course Harry, because he has been having a lights out performance in Search like all across the board.
Yeah, he's been absolutely excellent. But again, I would like to take a look at the series layout because these maps very much do create the storylines. Ultra Academy 250 to 234, and that map 1, to reiterate, now going to Bocage S&D. This one is a bit of a toss-up. When you look at Rocker's recent performances, they have yet to play it in Season 2. They've yet to play Bocage S&D in Season 2. But for Toronto Ultra, in a similar situation where maybe that tendency for Rocker to win on their closer maps or their smaller maps, maybe that does play out here and we have ourselves a tied series. However, the better S&D team overall as of late has been the clutch factor of Toronto. They have been excellent. So we could be looking at a very dangerous situation. We didn't see a lot of 3-0s in the early start of Season 2. We didn't see a lot of it in the middle, but playoffs are always a unique time for teams, and when or not they are able to turn up, this Bocage could really spell the difference.
Yep, and in terms of Toronto Ultra Academy, I'm going to be looking at Vortex because the last time that they played, the only and the last time that they played Bocage was against Revenge Tour, and he dropped 13 kills. He went 13-3. So I'm going to be looking at his sub coming into this Bocage because he's going to obviously be a thorn in your side, a problem if you are the Rokkr Academy. But you know, of course, it's playoffs day. It's a different mindset. You just really, again, who's going to turn up Sean, right? Like, anything can happen. The paper is there, but we all know that playoffs time, it's a different story.
And it's absolutely story. Everything changes. You almost throw stats out the window, but you use it as a record of the historical events that have taken place. For Toronto Ultra Academy going into this season, they kept the core group of 3. They bring in Furious, which was a pretty good replacement, and it seems that it's worked out so far. For this edition, they've not only qualified obviously for the playoffs where they find themselves at today as a 3rd seed, but they get themselves a spot for Season 3 so they can continue to work through the kinks and make sure they're all caught up to speed. But every series they've lost this stage has come down to the distance. It's come down to a Game 5 where they went 3-2 against Revenge Tour, Minnesota Rokkr, and Sugri's Bakery. So even though Sugri's Bakery and Revenge Tour are not in this final playoff bracket, the losses are coming at a stretch where one Game 5 goes their way, all of a sudden they're probably first in the group overall, which is really, really interesting.
Yeah, no, for sure. And you mentioned Furious and what an addition he brings to the team because the previous team that he was a part of, the Originals, I think they only won 1 game the whole entire stage. So they didn't even qualify. Obviously, he is just a breakout player that he brings so much to the team. And again, this is that Money Form V2 squad, and they didn't qualify last time around, and now they did. So going into this, he's just such an electric player because, I mean, they needed that type of a flex. Previously, I think they were playing with Wee Man, more of a main AR role. But with Furious, he brings that to the team. He brings that flexibility that they needed, and they have just been shining so well across the board. And that's really all they needed. Maybe it was a little bit rocky in the beginning. I know us personally, we had that Sugri's Bakery's game that, again, it was like it got stolen away from them, right? They were up, and then it got turned around, but regardless, like, they just needed time to put that energy, that together, that formulation together, because just with any new player, it just takes some time. And as we go on, like, I just think that this squad is just going to keep getting better and better because that's exactly what we've seen.
Yeah, their hard points are going to get much more consistent. But when we look at the S&Ds, when we look at Bocage, again, there has been a patch that was released today, so obviously the spawns are a little bit different, and the starting points are going to be a little bit different, and there was a move for one of the bomb sites on Bocage, so we will see how that plays out today. But looking at how the approach should be for a lot of the subs for Toronto Ultra, especially Steve-O, aka Vortex, if you've watched Challengers for a while, that's going to be kind of the key for me. A lot like how we've seen on Doge side with like Abusive playing towards B side over towards the docks on Berlin S&D. I look at Vortex's job where a lot of that responsibility for clearing the site and getting a clean plant down does rest on his shoulders, especially on a map like this. So the S&D very much could be pivotal for the subs' position in today's best of 5, but we could be looking at, we're not just like a First Blood show, but all of a sudden, you're playing a 4v2, 3v2 off break, and we're not even 30 seconds in the round with how quickly the subs can get in position, whether we're still Riverside or we're over towards Grandma's, depending on where the site changes come into. So it's going to be really interesting to see how the subs adapt. But is there anything standing out to you, Ellen, for Toronto Ultra Academy going into this, knowing they're in a position to go up 2-0 in the series?
Honestly, not particularly. I'm a little bit more scared if you're Rokkr, just because of how well across the board that Ultra Academy, I mean, for one, they got the momentum for the first game, but for two, they have consistently been playing well in Search overall for this stage. So, even though maybe not potentially played it here, but still, going into this, I'm going to be looking at maybe Journey to take down Steve-O if he's, the contesting sub, but already Beans getting lit up there, does get taken down by Metals. It was Steve-O, First Blood, and Furious with a 2-piece trade. Great start for the Ultra Academy.
Not too bad. But then you also lose 2 on the rip, so now you have to regroup towards the back line. It's going to be Lucky, who might have spotted some information. That rotation from Rokkr could come through very slowly. Okay, he does get the headshot. All of a sudden, it's now a 2v1. Interesting gunfights alone. Furious with a perfect read. Rokkr take the opening round.
All right. Well, that was very quick and easy. And Ultra, it was really furious. Obviously, he aced. Okay. Well, kinda. Damage, I'm sure. Damage for the assist. It said he aced. It said he had 4 kills. We'll take it as an ace, but regardless, we will. Ultra up 1-0. And Furious is mighty furious right now. On the defending side, though, they are... Excuse me. The bomb has been grabbed from Rocker. And now they're going to slowly work their way in. Looks like kind of just the grandma play. And sit and be patient.
Yep.
Stun checks are coming out, but it doesn't seem like anything is connecting. Harry does get tagged up, though. Lucky through the wall. Takes him down, so now it's Rocker Academy with the first blood.
Well, this is what's interesting now, is that A has been moved outside of the Grandma. So for a lot of those ARs, or a lot of the subs, I should say, who used to sit behind the bomb, the ARs on the opposite side can now shoot through those walls and take you down. So you're not going to get immediate cover. If you do go for an A plan, it's going to have to be a lot quicker and cleared out through the back. Furious quickly running into 2. He will at least take 1 down before falling. And Steve-O, good read, but that jump just doesn't pay off the way it should have. Journey with the peak, Journey with the loss. And a 2v1 doesn't even matter in the end. Rocker Academy 2 rounds in a row. Responding very quickly and cleanly onto Ultra Academy. But that's the interesting thing over at A now that the bomb is out in the open.
You mean, I know the screen is messed up. You mean Ultra. It's Ultra that's winning right now. Don't worry, guys. We got it. It's just the screen is trying to confuse us, okay? But it is Ultra that is just doing the thing
you're right.
now. Doing what they need to do. And now, see on how Real is going to defend this one. Nades come up. And it's Metals with the opening first blood onto Harry. So that bomb is going to work its way towards that outer A point, as you see. It's not inside Grandma's anymore. Still no teams. Kind of just playing TDM here. Real just waiting patiently. Doesn't necessarily spot Steve-O, but it's Furious who does get opening first blood, or excuse me, another pick, and Beans to follow. So now the bomb does get planted, and it is a 2 versus 2.
Off gets down, and Steve gets the read. Oh, wow! Real just guns him on the site, and Journey's there for the cleanup. That's one of the beautiful things about Journey. When the action goes down towards the site, if he's in a position to make a win, this dude steps up every time. He did it on Atlanta FaZe Academy 2 years ago. He did it during Cold War. He's doing it now yet again. Journey is nasty. But it's Ultra with the 2-1 lead. Rocker Academy finally get their first round here as Beans is cleaned up towards the back silo. Nicely done.
Yeah, and that was definitely they definitely needed that round for sure to stop that momentum going. So huge round out from Journey. See where they're going to go on the attacking side. Got that pistol out, and it looks like it's going to be probably just a post up wait towards that barn area. But you see 3 members of Ultra Academy is in Grandma's, and stun check zoning out the forward. Couple of shots in on the other side from Furious. Some information does get spotted out there, but Steve-O with the team kill and Journey to follow with the kill. And maybe another one. He gets 2, so now Lucky is last alive in a 1 versus 2.
The problem with the Planet A is unless you get first blood over there and you get a stun check to get the bomb down quickly, you're going to have to plant towards the tank. And luckily, Rocker understood that. But in this situation for Lucky, it does come down to a 2v1. The slow rotation through the back, he might have read it, but does not know yet where the position will be. It's Ultra with the man advantage in this one. 30 seconds to go. Some odd change on the clock, but have to get bomb, have to get in a position to plant. Furious is there to read it.
23 seconds left. If he can isolate at least one member, he has a chance. So now Lucky able to stay alive. His trade, Beans not able to follow through, does finally. And now Lucky does fall. And it's Ultra. Still comfortably in a lead, 3-1. And it just, man, Lucky had a chance there. If he had a chance, that was very close. 20 seconds to get away there, Sean. Potentially could have done it, but of course time was the problem.
Mm-hmm.
Well, Furious, what a game he's having, by the way. 8-3 currently. MP40's doing him justice.
You're looking at Harry and Steve-O at 2-2 and 1-4. I mean, outside of the 1-4, which really isn't even that bad into round number 5, the fact that Harry's 2-2, like, that's a perfectly normal stat line. It's just been a very big hard carry from Furious and Beans early on. They've been able to find the first and second blood, especially getting out with their life, how difficult that can be for Rocker to adapt to, as Furious tries to make his way sneakily over towards B. But does he catch him on the off flank? Well, he's going to find the info. Does he get read? Oh, he got read by Journey like a book. And Metals will fly out for the security just in case there's a follow-up attempt on the challenge. Real might back off this site. Victim through the wall. Harry gets him. It's a 2-on-2 right now. Rocker Academy now flying, but Journey once more picking up another crucial kill. And wow, what a read. That is just ridiculous in the end.
No, indeed it was. And I wonder if there was just like some sort of like bait trade there. Cause like, he like ran away. He ran into that grandma's area and then immediately just like turned around when Furious essentially was on the chase. So I just wonder if Metals maybe down that AR sight line and that mid area just gave him some information or just saw something that, hey, turn around, you're being chased. Cause yeah, that was a very, very good read from Journey. And now he's obviously 3 streak. Metals is doing a fantastic job, and this is the round that they need to come back and even the odds. So you're going to see maybe, again, just that kind of aggressive post-up play from the barn and really just stun nades, get those checks out, and we'll see. Real's thinking about it. Harry would be the one to maybe put some type of a stop to this, but still. Journey does get the Furious from that help with Real. And again, Sean, it's kind of looking like Rocker is going to take this one.
They might. And again, in this situation, with the split right now from Ultra Academy, Rocker could be in a position to start picking him off one at a time. It depends on the timing from Lucky. He could get very lucky with where Steve-O, no pun intended, moves into position. Does he hear him? He does. Great peek. That's a win from Lucky. Now a 2-on-1. That positioning from Rocker was actually brilliant just by victim of circumstance. And Ultra Academy had to regroup. Oh, Harry runs into both lines of sight, gets one. It's a team kill, never mind. And the win there from Lucky, so he makes up for it regardless. But Rocker, huge round back on the board. They tie up our game 3-3. Ignore what the sign says on your screen. It's a win from Lucky. And that was just great positioning all around. The patience from Rocker at mid-map, knowing they had to regroup, splitting out the numbers, and Ultra were nowhere to be found.
Yeah, and I mean, just opening up those first picks, Journey and Real just working, like you said, opening up that mid-map, getting the stun checks out, and just kind of patiently waiting for that first blood to come through. Kind of just playing it slow, but Lucky now with the sniper out. We've seen him do damage with this plenty of times in the past. Specifically thinking Desert Siege 2. Gonna try to see if we can get some information in, but seems like, again, kind of like similar to the Rocker strategy. Post up in that barn area, wait for the picks, stun checks. They are coming out, but nothing is connected. Journey and Lucky might have a free shot.
You can't really move anywhere other than towards back A or swinging around the silo. That's the problem. You're playing 3 up at a time, so if you are Ultra, you're putting a lot of investment into finding a first blood, but Journey finds 2 again. He will fall, but damage is done. 3v2. Now down to a 2, but the trade inside the barn and Grandma's control underneath is perfect right now. It's Rocker Academy with the life advantage. Bomb now picked up. Cut down quickly. Wow. I mean, these rounds are going by so quickly, but in the end, Rocker, 4th round. Very convincing.
Yeah, and I mean, just such a really good... essentially, it seems like both teams are just kind of forced to just try to play this A site, but again, it's just really getting those opening first picks and maybe just having like those entry subs pick somebody off, which obviously Journey has done, Real's done, Furious is even done, but still, kind of the different strategy this time around though on the attacking side. Kind of see again the bomb swinging back and forth. I thought the bomb was going to go B as I say that though, but Beans is pushing up, might be able to put a stop to it, and Steve-O as well with the mid-map control.
Big win by Journey. It's another huge first blood. Well, even it out, but now the chase. Journey again, 9-5. He's turned up in the last 3 or 4 rounds of this game, too. 55 seconds to go. Bomb out on an island, but it may just come down to Journey Sup in this situation. On the hunt. I think he might have hurt him. Oh, it's a great route, but does he pick it up in time? The chase is there. Harry can't clean up the kill. Now just needs to play his life. Real on the other side will take down Furious. All the numbers quickly falling for Ultra.
Nice kill on Harry, but problem is the bomb has been planted in 1 versus 2. He's got to isolate a player, but he cannot get spotted out. So, yeah, Rokkr doing a fantastic job. And, of course, a lot of credit, shout-outs to Journey and Real. The subs are doing exactly what they needed to do. Just getting into positions to where they're catching the enemy off guard, getting a pick, and playing patient at times when they needed, waiting for those stuns and nades to come out, and getting each other's trades. So, Rokkr, round by round, take the lead. And Ultra Academy, essentially, they haven't won a round since they went up 3-0. Can they answer back to this adversity?
I was going to have to come to the subs. Metals with an opening win. It's huge at that, and he stays alive. There's Real for the cleanup. Harry for 1. But again, the numbers just fall so quickly. Like, it's so consistent. Rokkr wasting no time. They take game 2, 6-3. Similarly to how we saw both these teams play earlier in their prior matchups. But, I mean, Rokkr just wasted no time getting first and second blood in this game, too.
No, and again, you had mentioned that this is that small mixy map. You need those subs. You need that sub pressure. And responding to that, it just seemed like Ultra couldn't respond to Journey and Real getting those picks to the subs. So realistically, I mean, I know things are kind of weird too. Of course, with the changes in the update, the bomb site's out. So these teams realistically don't have the strategies maybe that they had going into this. So that is just something that's to take into consideration.
Sure. No, it absolutely is. And it's a big game to win by Rokkr to reestablish some confidence in this series. Of course, they lose the opening hardpoint of Gavutsu, one of their better map mode combos. And in general, with how crazy that S&D really came down to, it really was the subs who stepped up. Journey being one of the highlights, maybe the MVP performance in the middle half of those rounds. But in general, taking a look at the replays in a moment, Ellen, talk to me a little bit about how the change might have affected Rokkr in a positive way, as it seems that they were able to work through the openings a little bit more, especially with that sub pressure, and find consistent first bloods round after round after round.
Well, I kind of said this before the broadcast. This could benefit Rokkr because Toronto Ultra Academy, they're like 8-2 overall, like in this stage 2, just in their searches. They have won, they have dominated. And with the changes, I mean, essentially, that's going to mess up their strategies a little bit, right? So going into this, I mean, Rokkr's like, hey, it's like the game just came out, right? Fresh slate. Not necessarily just came out, but you know what I mean. It's just like, that's going to kind of shake things up a little bit. So kind of just go to a traditional play style or just play different, maybe do something that you haven't done before. But essentially, they just did what they needed to do. And Journey and Real, those sub picks and catching the enemy off guard, they did it well.
No, they certainly did. And now we talk about a potential swing in this series where it was all coming down to the control. And, you know, if we were going to see a situation, rarely it seems like in Season 2, where all of a sudden a team is up 2-0 in a series. We haven't seen a lot of that. But with the layout being what it is, with Tuscan Control coming up, again, should the subs thrive, which very well could be the case, Rokkr Academy in a good position, but also Ultra Academy have proven in the respawns they've been able to handle the pressure, and they've made clutch plays in clutch moments. I call back to Harry going towards that P2 early on in the end of the rotation of the last hardpoint in Gavutsu. Harry made a big pickup on Lucky, was able to shut him down. They win the map because of it. Rokkr responding on one of the closer maps, but Tuscan Control has a bit of both. You have a bit of closeness inside church. You also have those long walkways over towards radio, towards the catwalk, towards patio as well, where your ARs can get a position to do some damage. This really could come down to one big push, one big break through the back, or one big win in a key moment by a sub. That is where, if Journey has the success he had in the S&D, Rokkr could be in prime position to lead this series. But this one's going to be a bloodbath.
Yeah, no, indefinitely. And like going through this, like, you know, mentally tallying out like what map mode combo we have, like looking at this, you'd think, man, I thought Rocker Academy would take map 1 and then Ultra would take map 2. So it's like, man, you really look at that and it's like, okay, it was flip-flopped. Okay, we don't know what's gonna happen. Of course, again, like you said, those single ARs and those we already know Rocker Academy, they have that synergy. Lucky has played with Metals and Journeys just for years, and that addition to Real, of course, has just been so amazing. The synergy with those three, though, can that match up? I don't know, because with how well that Toronto has played across the board, and again, the fact that they have taken them in the last 2 series, that's just kind of the swing factor for me, is just like, I know Minnesota Rocker, I know that they're Season 1 champs, I know that they have consistently across the board been so damn good. But this, you can't count out how well Toronto Ultra Academy have been playing for as long as they've been playing. This is their first stage together, right? They like, it hasn't been as long as the other squad, and they're already performing this well. So I don't know. It's like you said, Sean, it's gonna be a bloodbath. It's gonna really come down to the sub pressure, the aggression, and how well they respond to the pacing. Can they keep up? Can they take each other's spacings down? Like just how well that they're going to respond to their adversities.
Well, at least in reps wise, Rocker Academy have the upper hand. They've played 6 times. They're 4-2. On the other side for Toronto, again, another good map for them on on Control. They're 2-1 on Tuscan. So you look at the matchups, you say, well, Rocker played it more and they have more wins, therefore they might be more confident. But we had that same conversation in the Gavutu hardpoint for game 1 of the series, and look how that turned out. So if this becomes a situation of all the best maps that Rocker have at their disposal, they're now losing much closer than they used to. Toronto Ultra have been stealing respawns left and right as of late, especially in the Cups. And now, in this situation, they have a real good chance to stun Rocker on some of their picks, potentially. But looking at the overall of this series, it does essentially come down, once again, to the ARs, in my opinion. Like, the Beans and Furious, how they were able to play in map 1 was great. But overall, like, Rocker have to find a way to slow the game down. They're one of the best teams at fundamentals. They're one of the best teams at just making the right play consistently throughout the game, even when hardpoints get scrappy, even when controls get a little bit chaotic. They have to find a way to continue to dominate and dictate those fundamentals, because if they do, all the other variables become mitigated. They become a lot more manageable. So in this situation, I expect this to go to around 5. I expect this series to be going the distance anyway. But for Rocker, they have to continue to rely on those fundamentals. What's gotten them here to this point, what kept them in first place until Vengeance's run in the end of Season 2. For Ultra, they're basically playing with house money right now, with how they've been playing and how good they've looked against Rocker. So there's really nothing they can't try on the map. They could call audibles, they could make wild plays, it might work out. But Real might be another key factor here if Rocker can turn it around. In general, though, predictions, Ellen? Anything you're thinking before we get into the control?
Oh man, predictions. I don't know if I can do a prediction on this one. Honestly, I'm just looking. Oh man, I can't choose. I like both of these teams, Sean. I can't do it. I can't be biased. I'm not a bias. I'm looking at statistics.
B-U-Y-E-S-T.
Yes. B-U-Y.
B-U-Y-E-S-T.
Biased.
Yeah.
Exactly. I don't know. I really, if you're Rocker, you say the ARs. Lucky, he has the highest control KD. Okay, so he is fine in terms of slaying. In terms of ARs, then if it's going to be Metals, obviously to pull that out, he's going to be the one that needs to step it up for me. If you're Rocker Academy, but still, a lot of pressure though. And oh man, what an attacking play! Attacking hit goes in from the Rocker Academy, and they are over on the B site, Sean. Not really committing to A, but look at, maybe might have a split push here as Real is over on the A site, so now they're simultaneously captured. And might I say that all members of Ultra Academy are falling except for Harry.
Again, the names are flipped, so we'll give you an update as quickly as those get back into play. But early on, it's Lucky inside the point. We talked about how important he's been for the stability of the squad. I mean, arguably a top 10 player in Europe when he's playing at his best, and I mean, you could make that argument very easily, but in terms of his consistency over the years, especially last year, Lucky has been, at least with the duo of Metals, Lucky and Metals, they have been ridiculously consistent, and they've been able to carry that success into Vanguard and how quickly they've adapted. into these different maps. I mean, it just shows the skill of these players. Is Lucky starting off at 4-1. Early on, though, 24 lives for Rokkr to 21 of Ultra. B somewhat locked up. Still working on that third ticket progression. Here comes a push down to the front. Journey meets a couple of bullets. And that push goes by the wayside.
Yeah, indeed it does. And still, Ultra Academy are set up on the B point, and Steve-O, of course, on that sight line of the patio does take down Metals, and Harry's locking the back. So if you are Ultra Academy, this isn't a bad setup to hold. Still a minute 45 left on the clock, and how about that? Furious holding down Radio. Real might just come in contact with the other end of a gun, but no! I'm not sure how he wins one, but two. Real opens up Radio, and now all members of Rokkr Academy are flying onto the B point and capturing. This is actually really fast as Real took control, but oh, this contest comes through. The stop does come in. The nade from Furious to counter back, and wow, that happened so fast. Ultra Academy do stop.
Plenty of time, though. Minute 23. Might come down a Journey, trying to work for the break. Moves his way into Radio, but you have Steve on the opposite side and Harry around for a trade. The stack right now inside the point for Ultra is pretty damn good with spawns in the back from Furious. Here comes Journey trying to work his way through the front. Looking for the opening. Now he flies in. He's going to meet Harry, and Harry again wins another big gunfight. It's Steve-O who cleans up the second. So you trade 2 for 1 in the engagement with a minute to go. 15 lives apiece for both sides. But look at the spawns out for Rokkr. Look how much they have to traverse the map just to get into position to hit for a 4-man as Lucky works his way into the point. It's a round for 1. It's good for 1. Stuns do come out, but Rokkr work their way in. They find the time. They find the kills. They find the point. They get round 1.
And that's what you had said. The ARs were going to be it for you, Sean. And Lucky, what an opening first 2 picks to slide onto the point. But my goodness, shortly before that, I don't even know what happened because they were just about to capture it. Furious was holding Radio and somehow gets beamed. And then Real gets 2-piece. That happened so quickly. And then Ultra just immediately stops. So what a hold that was for just a split second. But regardless, Rokkr Academy doing a fantastic job. And Lucky, who obviously opened it up for the squad, and Journey following on board with him as he does get taken down by Steve-O, and seems like the stop was intact for the Rokkr Academy. Ultra do get pushed back and isolated over at A.
Opening couple of kills. Both teams getting their hand in the swing of things. Real with a sub in hand, so we'll see if the changeup does come into effect as Journey, with 1 HP, still managing to find his way through a gunfight. And we'll work on decapping the bit of progression that was at least put on the board for A. It's Ultra on the attacking side. But so far, the defense from Rokkr certainly standing strong at mid-map.
Yeah, defenses are looking pretty good right now if you were Rokkr. And Real zoning out that back church area. We know how important it is to hold this. Is typically, it might be the decision to just save lives and chalk up A, as Ultra Academy are capturing. Harry doing a fantastic job zoning the lane down. Now, Furious does push up that back church area. So now the capture is secured for A. And Ultra Academy, 23 lives to 20. So Rokkr decided to chalk it up, and Steve-O does take down Lucky and Church. So now Church control is imminent for the Rokkr Academy. Let's see. Beans is back Church zoning out and does get stunned. So if you're a Rokkr, you got to take down Beans in the back, as you know he can do some damage.
Big stun, but big win with the MP40. Beans, dipping and diving, finds the shoulder. Furious with 2, colliding in the kill feed. But things start to slow down yet again. A minute 20 to go. Beans winning another big gunfight. This sub has really started to light up. You're thinking maybe, he's at range pulling it out with the automaton, but he's got every gun he needs. It doesn't matter what the gunfight looks like. He's going to find a way to win it on a 4 spree. 15-7 for the moment. Finally into the point. Ultra trying to make their advance, but yet again, with all of that happening, nowhere close to be the spread for Rokkr Academy has been essentially flawless. You get 1 or 2 extra hits. With 11 lives right now, Rokkr playing very good defense.
Yeah, indeed they are. And now the hit is going to essentially come through that patio side. Harry does pick up Journey. But now, Furious in the back does take down Real. And now there's only 2 members of Ultra on the point. Harry does take down Metals. So now, stack does come on through. But still, Journey, they left radio open. Journey might actually have an opening pick as he does tag up Furious, but Furious does get away with his life. And now, they didn't clear him out, but now, Journey does find him, in fact, and that was a crazy defensive push, but really, props and shout outs to Journey for opening it up on that radio side. 25 seconds left remain. And now the push, this is the last break if you are Ultra Academy.
They're going to 4-stack. You get really nowhere else you can go. Maybe try to spread out AR on the wing, but it might take too much time to develop. Here comes down the push, but it's Lucky through the back again. Lucky with the sub, just shutting down everything that Ultra had going for him in this push. 12 seconds to go. You don't want to feed kills anymore as Lucky's getting close to the glide bomb, which very well could open this game up even more so. There's the glide bomb. Lucky does find it. And the defensive hold with so little lives, Rocker Academy get it done again. 2 rounds in a row. They had the disadvantage, but it pays off. And not only that, they get a streak out of it. So you go into round number 3. You're going to the attacking side. You basically know you can work through A. But when it comes to breaking B, you have the glide bomb. Rocker blowing the doors open on this control.
Absolutely. And I mean, look at Lucky. 7 streak right now, 17-8. Completely going off for the squad, but still, every single kill is important. And now the aggressive push towards that A site is imminent, but the stop does come in to go down for Rocker Academy as Ultra do kind of isolate them back. And now looking to be broken out. I was going to say here, this is actually pretty good if you're Ultra Academy. You have members of Rocker Academy isolated into that back fountain area, and now they have complete map control. You got Fire covered, you got Beans kind of aggressively pushing through, and then Real trying to essentially find the members of the Ultra Academy as Metals gets taken down.
Was really going to come down to the control in this series, and we still do have a streak we can work through. Stevo, it's a big gunfight. He will walk away with it, but even there, on the opposite side of the map, it's Journey finding one, and Metals combining for 2. Every single break, Ultra set up. Rocker just walk away with. They have the life lead. They have the kills in the kill feed. Journey on a roll right now. A is nowhere to be found. Ultra doing all they can to get in for a contest, but it just seems like it's so futile. Rocker finding the kills. They got A basically locked up. The only one in position to contest is Beans, but he leaves off. This is just tremendous control from Rocker.
Yeah, indeed it is. But if you are Ultra Academy, I would just literally don't throw lives and give up A. But it looks like Real is going to capture B, and he actually does get taken down. So on the opposite side, it was Furious that did try to run towards A and make a stop, but not successful. So now in lives in favor of Rocker Academy, it is the defensive setup. All on that patio side, and then the back church from Harry. So Lucky's going to look to make a break, but does fall back. So now, you see that Ultra Academy does have that middle control area, and this is going to be important. Journey going to go on the hunt for Beans. Does spot him. And still, that's going to be... I was going to say, Sean, this is kind of chaotic. There's still a minute left. Live still in favor of Ultra now.
Beans. That's huge from Beans because it not only cuts down the extra push, but you start to funnel Rocker into positions. But I mean, he's doing all he can. 21-14, 14-15 in the life count. 40 seconds to go. I don't think he used the streak here. If you get a break, great. If you don't, you still have a couple of rounds you play through, and you use it as a last case scenario. As Furious will once more win his individual engagement. Journey for 1. Where's the follow-up? A little bit too late. Metals trying to work into the point. Finally, a push from Rocker with 25 seconds to go, but we're going to use the glide bomb anyway. Does it secure a kill? It will. A trade regardless. A couple of gunfights ensue on the point, and Furious, Harry, and Stevo wipe Rocker off the board. A very big defensive round win from Ultra.
Indeed it was, and I agree with you. I don't know if that was the play to invest in the streak. You should, essentially save it for the next round, but still, Beans, obviously what a tear he's doing. Gonna try to maybe... I was gonna say, there's no time. You don't have time to make another push, but I just was really confused by that play as well, because there was only like 12 seconds left, I think, there, but it was a risky play, a play that wasn't successful. Still, it's match point for Rocker. Ultra still need to win 2 more, but really looking at Stevo here is he's not really having the best performance this map, but still looking to turn it up now. The attacking side there, we got a full 4-man hit to B. So now Furious does open up the pick onto Real. So this could be the flood that they needed.
Well, I like the decision to go to B. Again, you were able to bait out a streak, so you don't have to worry about it anymore. And you can just play these gunfights straight up. The way you've been winning it early on the defensive side could have a similar effect here. AR is now into the point, but Lucky and Real clearing it out as quickly as it starts. Life lead there for Rocker. Point hold here for Rocker as well. Stevo trying to work to the back. Has to worry about a stun in his face. Here comes the nade for the extra check. You got Harry out on the pinch. 3-man stack with a fly in. Stevo for 1. And Furious for the trade as well. This is another big break. Nicely done by Rocker.
Yep. And I see that, Metals was the last one there isolated, but still, Ultra Academy, they can walk away with this. But I think that Rocker is still going to try to isolate and collapse onto the point. Beans able to take down Journey, that back church area, and realistically, Metals on the opposite side takes down Furious. So now this should be another tick at A for the Ultra Academy, and it is. And you see Harry kind of making a disruptance over at B side, splitting up the push. Does manage to get a kill onto Metals, that patio area. So now Ultra Academy do get A control, and now they have B to worry about. Lives in favor of Ultra Academy, 22-19, and they have plenty of time to do it. 1 minute and 47 seconds left on the clock.
I love the aggression from Furious in the past couple of rounds, especially with how he's played in control as of late. He's been absolutely dominant, but the pressure with the sub cannot go unanswered. There needs to be a response from Rocker. Harry will fly his way forward. 2 stacking from Rocker, at least on the outskirts. You do have radio control. Eyes over as well. Real, if he works his way inside, might be able to clean up a kill or 2. But we'll buy our time for a push as Lucky works his way up the stairs. Now over to Journey, losing the gunfight. Trades ensue. Harry for 2 will get some right back. But Ultra still yet to get in the point.
Yeah, and it's really hard. I mean, Rocker, they've proved time and time again how well they are at their defenses and just zoning forward consistently, picking up each other's lanes. I mean, Journey's doing a fantastic job of it. And the subs are winning their gunfights. I mean, you see it. Journey, Real, every single time in the kill feed, and of course, Lucky doing what he needs to do with the AR. So just getting into positions to where you're holding off those cuts and stopping the push is exactly what Rocker are doing every single time.
Mm-hmm.
And falling just yet again, you see Lucky picking up that lane. A lane falls, somebody else picks it up. So there, Metals is going to try to rotate over again and pick up that patio push, as they know it's very important to hold. 30 seconds left, and lives in favor of Rocker.
Journey just bought Rocker so much time on his little spree, pulling attention away from the lane. And yet again, they find a way to clean up the kills together. Real will take down 1, but here comes the push from Ultra. This is essentially your last-ditch effort with 5 lives to give. Journey through the back hole almost loses it, but it's still Journey going on a rampage. Stevo will respond, but they need to get into the point, and they need to get in now. 4 seconds to go. 1 last attempt from Furious. He's basically playing a 1v2. He will lose it. That's going to be it. Rocker take game number 3, up 2-1 in the series, in a massive control win.
Yeah, indeed it was. That was massive, Sean. And I mean, realistically, all members of Rocker just did a fantastic job. Their defenses, they thrived with, and it just seemed like the pacing for Ultra, they couldn't really match that. Yep. Overall, that was just really clean from the side of Rocker Academy. Subs slaying out and shutting down the subs for Toronto, and ultimately, yeah, doing what you needed to do, playing important, playing for those important kills, and Rocker's just looking really good on the Tuscan.
Well, Rocker was the #1 team for a while for a reason. We've seen Toronto Ultra Academy and Rocker Academy trade blows back and forth in the cups, and this is the reason why. These teams know each other so well, but it really, again, came down to Journey's extra couple of sprees towards radio, how crucial he was for maintaining the defensive hold and spread that Rocker had applied in the last couple of rounds. In the end, though, the pressure just wasn't enough. Ultra Academy couldn't get the numbers in position to attack B, and it just seemed that Rocker had their book read every single round, even though they did lose the streak early.
Yeah, indeed. Yeah, some decisions were a little bit questionable too for the Ultra Academy. I noticed that there was a specific time where essentially like giving up points, right? If you notice that you can't capture something, or if you can't defend something, give it up. Maybe just throwing away lives in certain situations. But again, I guess lives essentially now don't matter. It's the ticks that do. But regardless, it's Rocker Academy that came out on top. And, you know, just wonder maybe if there wasn't an update, if there would have been something, different changes. But still, nonetheless, Lucky having a stellar performance. That's exactly what we wanted to see. The AR step up, and he did a fantastic job of doing that. And overall, yeah, I mean, even on the side of Ultra Academy, Harry didn't have a terrible game. It really just was, it was just the subs. The subs just got completely shut down.
Yep, you saw Lucky pull out a sub when he was able to get towards B, 32 and 19 with 26 untraded kills. Dude was insane, but even with Journey's 3-speed, those 3 kills came at a very opportune time to help close out the game against Ultra. Now, when we look at the series spread in general, we go to, of course, another hard point where you get a second swing at things if you're Rocker, because they did drop the Gavutu. Now you go to Berlin. Again, another map mode combo that does favor, statistically, Rocker in this situation. Can they turn it around? Well, if Lucky's playing this way and Journey is getting crucial kills as well, this should be a little bit closer than the game one was down the stretch, where Ultra were really able to pull away and keep Rocker on the back burner.
Yeah, this is gonna be a tough one because, like you said, 4-1 on Berlin for Rocker, and then Ultra they're 3-1 on it. So yeah, coming into this, just going off of that last map, again, if you are Ultra Academy, I would be a little bit nervous, but still, we've seen them turn up on this map before. Harry, Beans, we've seen them specifically go crazy holding down those sight lines. Of course, we know fire is going to be really important. That back warehouse, middle train, and just holding down those really long lanes, docks. Just really going to be expecting to see them step up in terms of map control and allow those subs, allow Steve to get into point and maybe get those cuts and get, you know, a little bit more map control, more pressure going on.
The series could absolutely go the distance to a final Tuscan S&D, but we will draw our attention over towards the Berlin hardpoint. In this situation, if you are Rocker, again, you want to close out this series, as quickly as possible in a 3-1 fashion. But for Ultra, just because they don't have the same record doesn't mean we can't favor them just as much. They've been about as clean a hardpoint team as you could have asked going into playoffs, and they've proven that they understand how to read Rocker when, you know, rotating slowly through the back, stabilizing the spawns, and making plays for 2-3 hills ahead. Where you can chain a couple of hills together on Berlin, that is where this map will be decided. You're kind of looking towards lobby, then moving over to train yard, where, of course, the heavy contest will come in early on. Other than that, you can lock down spawns with an AR and then get testy with a sub at Broken. So there is a lot that can happen on the final few hills on Berlin where Ultra Academy can capitalize and stun Rocker. However, this is going to be a very, very, very choppy game. I don't expect it to be smooth from either side. There's going to be a lot of audibles called. Will we see a change in the setups for both teams? Who might run the extra sub? Who might run the extra automaton? Regardless, in the end, for Berlin, for Rocker, it has to come through the fundamentals like we've talked about. They're in a position to put Toronto away, and what a way to do it, kind of on a bit of their own revenge for how they dropped that 7th cup. This would be a huge moment for Rocker, and either of these teams have what it takes to potentially win it all this week. But Ellen, what are you thinking going in?
I'm thinking that Rocker has consistently played consistent both stages, and they had a little bit of a slowdown period. We already know, but I think they're ready to close this out. I don't know. I'm getting the energy from these guys. They're playing really confident. And don't get me wrong, Ultra, honestly, going into this, I thought Ultra was, but I just think from the last 2 series that they've learned from their mistakes. They've talked about it. I just think that Rocker has a little bit more time and experience together to get that chemistry going and to get, you know, to discuss what they're going to do. I just right here in this moment from how they've played the last 2 maps, maybe a little bit got sugared up on Gavutu, but I think they're going to take it. I think they're going to take this here. It's going to be close, though. I think it's going to be like 250 to like 237. I'm going to give you numbers now, Sean.
You're going to give him 3 extra points?
Now.
You're going to give him 3 extra points?
That's it. Yep, 3 extra points. It can't
fair.
be because it was 230. It was 235 to 250 last time with these 2 on both maps. So I'm going to give him 2 points. It's going to be 250 to 237.
Berlin's a dicey one. I mean, if you think that P4 on Gavutu is contest heavy, honest to God, wait till you eventually get to the lobby for Berlin. It gets a lot more interesting. But in general, both these teams were destined to fight against one another in the playoffs. Of course, Rocker held that first place for a while before Vengeance was able to overtake them in this regular season standings. All, however, qualified. And of course, Vengeance and Doge Nation are currently playing in their own winner semifinals match. Winner of this one and the winner of Vengeance versus Doge will move to the winners finals. So we will see that matchup today. In general, though, it really just comes down to how things play out. We don't unfortunately have an update for when the match will start for you guys. We will hope that we get into it momentarily, but maybe we'll be able to jump over to Doge versus Vengeance. Regardless, thoughts, feelings, ideas, sentiments, comments on the series so far. Ellen, what are you seeing?
You're asking me again?
Yes. Well, series as a whole, not prediction, just series as a whole. Like, what are you feeling?
I know, I'm just teasing you. I know it's been kind of a crazy morning so far. But no, so far I'm really feeling the energy from the Rocker squad. I don't know what it is. I really thought that. Don't get me wrong, this game is close. I like I said, it's still a close game, but I don't know. I'm feeling their vibes. And Metals, I mean, we talked about him and we talked about how he slowed down just a little bit. And I mean, what was the first thing that we saw when the broadcast started? Hardpoint on Gavutu. Metals went off. Yep. So I just think that these guys today, like I said, tomorrow, we might even see them in the grand final tomorrow. We don't know. I just think today they got the heat, they got the ice, and they're going to ice up right here. I'm sticking to that answer because you know me, Sean. I'll sit there and say, well, maybe this. Well, no, maybe this. But, you know, I have to make a decision and just decide. Okay? These guys are winning. What you got? That. What do you want?
I just like putting you on the hot plate. I like making you stress. So.
Is that it?
I'm taking Ultra. I want a game 5. Yeah, that's my whole MO. Yeah, I want chaos.
You gave us the easy answer.
I want chaos, Ellen. What can I say? But going into this one, it's a 2-1 series lead for Rocker Academy. They have certainly proven they have learned from their mistakes. For Ultra Academy, one hill at a time, one round at a time. Let's get into it. Furious again with the MP4. He started it off with first blood.
Indeed he is. Does get taken down now, and it is Metals with a 2-piece onto that P1 site. It's still being contested, though, and there we go. Harry's cleared off. Now it is the Rocker Academy that does have control. And spawning out that deep dock side, you see Steve-O kind of just rotating over, and they're thinking, of course, let's go over to Mailroom and give it up. Rocker Academy, beautiful hold on this P1 hill. All members, again, from Ultra Academy do fall, and it's only Steve-O left on the rotation. So this is very troublesome if you're Steve-O. He's going to kind of back up a little bit, but does get taken down by Metals, and Journey kind of just holding this Riverside here. It's Rocker Academy, again, kind of flipping the script and controlling the spawns.
Yeah, it's going to really depend on where those spawns would be. They're kind of on the right side of the train track, so luckily, don't have too much room to trek over to get into the point, but you also have to win the battles inside. Early on, Rocker, like on Gavutu, doing a very nice job of cleaning up the opening entry kills as Journey will finally fall. It's 55 and counting to 6, so even though these first 2 hills can be rather contested, it's this big chunk of time that puts a lot of pressure on Ultra to immediately respond on the rotation, win the opening time. 20 seconds still to fight over. They have to work their way inside the point.
Indeed they do, because they don't want too much time to get taken away from them. So now working their way in, it's, of course, Rocker Academy that still win the gunfights. But Steve-O, see if he can do some damage, does take down Lucky, and now secures at least 14 seconds. So the problem is, though, for Ultra Academy is that Rocker Academy is at the new site. So now clearing off the front, Metals does just that. It's Steve-O rotating to that dock side.
Lobby can be a big money hill for a lot of teams, depending on if you have an AR set towards docks and you're not getting overextended on. As Steve-O, great patience towards the dock side. He will eventually move his way up, but still, Rocker in the point. They've been able to win the opening break, the rotation, and the first 15 seconds of every single hill. It's Ultra Academy who are looking for their first push inside, but they have to deal with Real, who once again wins it through the window. It's a 2-stack inside. Rocker committing numbers in here with not a lot of nades to worry about. Here comes a push from Steve-O. Maybe Ultra finally have what they need, but as quickly as they get in, they are met with a flurry of trades and gunfights currently going both ways. Pinstripes in the kill feed. Journey takes out Beans. You're still looking for one in the corner. It's Furious who quickly gets cut down, and now an extra challenge for Lucky. and instead a team nade, or I should say a team kill, does come into effect, and that might be the swing that Ultra needed. They worked their way into the point. It's all white. It's all time for Ultra. That's a good chance for them to get some time.
Yep, a little bit of scrap time. And the good news is you got Furious on the rotation. So winning the gunfights on the rotation, now they're set up for this train hill, as Furious is going to look to just kind of wait for those kills, play patient in the back warehouse area. And Journey is essentially the one that he will come in contact with. So he's going to kind of recognize it and spot that. Does take down Journey and secures the spawns. So now flooding through the front train station, it's Rocker Academy. Beans going to look to stop the push. Does fall. So now two members of Rocker do open up the front, and again do get the kills, but both teams are going to contest from the front and the back. As you know, this is kind of that scrappy hill, as Ultra Academy still kind of remaining in control. 25 seconds left.
And take note of those squad spawns as well. I mean, Ultra get a blessing from the gods, and they're able to continue to contest where, well, usually this hill can essentially lean one side if you're able to dictate those spawns towards the back and pinch them with the ARs in this situation. You leave this hill down by about 55 counting. That's not too bad. You still have a hill you can get through, and you can chunk time together and strain it all essentially down to just hill time in the end, where you win the scrap, you win the last 10-15 seconds. With that, this game is not over by any stretch of the imagination. But with all said and done, Rocker once more trying to work their way in through the rotation. We go to P5 over to Broken. In this spot, Metals has to be kind of a factor here, a catalyst for being able to get the ARs in a spot where maybe he finds Beans, and then you push through the front for Furious, but Beans will win the gunfight. And early on, it's Ultra Academy who do get two inside the point, so not a lot of pressure from Rocker. They're not winning the gunfights, and Ultra more than happy to take the time.
Yeah, and of course, Ultra, huge two-piece from Stevo in that fire area, securing and zoning forward. So now he takes down Journey, and again, Ultra doing a fantastic job at locking down this P5 hill. But Harry, and as I say that, Metals actually gets 4. We didn't see it on the screen, but clears off all members of Ultra Academy. And again, with the rotations, it seems that Rocker are always there. Realistically, it was only P4, P5 that Ultra had, but now on the second set of rotations to that first hill, again, you see Real heating up the board, and he's popping off now with 3 kills down in that office area. Ultra Academy are spawning back the back train area, and it's still Real just getting the kills and zoning forward, doing everything he needs to do to split the push.
You need some pressure over towards pillars, but this mid-map pressure right now from Real, again, pulls numbers away from the point and makes it so difficult to set up for the next hill. Should that rotation become an issue, it looks like Real will be able to manage it. Now, moves his way into the point. You have 1 on the outside and 2 on the hunt. Beans currently looking, but Stevo might escape for a moment. Not for long, though. Real working his way in so flawlessly and stays alive, so the pressure there from everybody else in Rocker, pulling their attention back into the hill. It's Journey who cleans up the kill, and all of this time going to Rocker. This is a massive win on that second rotation. Rocker putting not only more points on the board, but ever so closely moving towards a potential situation where they went on scrap time alone. This is a big swing. We went from, 50 points now to around a 60-point, 70-point margin. For Ultra, they need to win the next rotation, and they need a huge chunk of time here. They were not able to get it on the last set of hills.
Yeah, indeed. And you noticed that a couple members of Ultra Academy did push that last point because they didn't want them to run away with too much time. Although Beans did secure about 4 seconds, still, they were able to win the gunfights and the rotations onto the new point. So you see, Furious, he is on a 3 streak, and he's a big reason for that. All of his teammates die, so now it's all Rocker Academy that clear off the point just so easily while that was happening. And Stevo is going to look to break on through. They have to break it back. It's 106 to 169, 24 seconds left. And again, not only do Ultra Academy have to clear off this point, but they have to also rotate. So Stevo, he's already thinking about that. He's going to work his way through fire, and he does get taken down.
Yep, Rocker more than happy to give up this time because they will secure the next one. It's P3 popped in 5 seconds, but all of Dockside locked down by Journey and company. Rocker doing a very nice job of dictating the pace and knowing where the kills may come. So far, they have the early time and the hold with about 57 or some change to fight over, and it looks like it's going to take a bit of effort for Ultra to get into position to potentially break. You have a 2-swing out towards the docks, but quickly numbers fall again. And every time Ultra get into position to potentially swing and contest, they lose numbers, and there's just not a lot of time for them to get back and regroup for another hit. Now, we just 3-stack through the front, but even there, they're just losing left and right. Journey through the back for 1. He will eventually drop. We fly out for Rocker. They're going to have to try this again.
Oh my goodness. And how far forward did you see Metals just zoning out, getting those important kills, and then rotating back and instantly knowing? So Rokkr are doing a fantastic job of controlling spawns, but either which way, now 15 seconds left, may go to Ultra, and it does. Beans wins the kill onto Lucky Fire, so Ultra Academy do secure that scrap time. But again, the problem is that Rokkr Academy are on the rotations. It's almost as if this is what they wanted. So Metals setup does get the pick onto Furious, Harry to follow with the nade. So again, it just always seems like Rokkr Academy has Ultra set up where they want to, but Stevo looking to break, does get a successful 2-piece on the back. So now Ultra Academy with that sub entry managed to flip.
And they get the spawns as well. This is a huge chunk of time. Ultra Academy can get right back into this hard point with the following 60. And now the ARs to boot. They're starting to light up the kill feed. What do you do if you're Rokkr? How do you break? How do you clear out the point? You're going to have to deal with Harry at mid-map. And maybe that is the key. Maybe you have to take him out, then try to work to the back. But that wastes a lot of time. Here comes the spread. The top side of your minimap. It's player 5, Riel, trying to work towards the outskirts. But he has a big gunfight in front, and he will win it. Now extra time and pressure there for Rokkr. They have to start making a move towards the point. Do they elect to give up this last 10 seconds? Well, they lost about 40 on this. And more importantly, we go from what was a 50-point game down to essentially tied. Ultra Academy should get the lead here, and they will. That is a big swing for Ultra Academy.
Yeah, and last time around, Ultra Academy was successful on this hold. So if they can manage to do so here, this could be very deadly if you are Rokkr. So now Harry, you see holding that top 3 does get taken down, and it is Stevo to follow. So what a break and performance for him from this game, as he's been doing such a fantastic job locking down lanes. Lucky does take him down, but still, no team is on the point right now. It's just really about kind of zoning out and just seeing if you can keep all members off the point. And that's kind of the strategy.
Yep.
Hold the spawns for new, but it's still Ultra Academy that are able to win their gunfights and secure some time and swing the lead, of course, in their favor.
Both teams are happy to have neutral time if it means neither side is getting anything else on the board. But again, we have to go back to P1. Early here, it was Rokkr who won the opening hardpoint. Then Ultra were able to contest for a little, but easily Rokkr in a position to win the first 10 or so seconds. One flying through the back, it will be Stevo, who yet again could do what Journey's done all game and get into position to play spoiler. He just has to bait and wait for his time. But did they pick it up? They did. Doesn't matter though. Stevo was able to win the opening and now waits for teammates to get inside or at least around the point for a push. Stevo working to the back. He's got pillars control, but Real has the better gunny, and it's Rokkr currently in the point. 45 seconds to go. They just need one solid hold, and they're going to win this series.
Indeed, they do, and they're in such a good position. But look at the split spawns there. It looks like Rial spawned in the middle of Ultra Academy members. So now the contest does come in, but he's able to at least isolate one member and turn around, and ultimately already know that they're coming through fire. So Journey's streaking out on the hill. Rial zoning forward and getting all the kills that he needs to get, and that looks to be it. Sean, 19 seconds left on the point, and I mean only 3 seconds to win. Rokkr Academy just in a very dominant fashion. I mean, realistically, throughout the whole game, take it 250 to 214.
Well, it wasn't as close as we had predicted, but it was close regardless in the end. That map went every single hill, blow for blow, and Rokkr will take the series 3-1, and one of the shorter series we've seen between these two teams, and really all season 2. This one ending in just 4. But in the end, Rokkr were able to rotate early, and one of the fundamentals we talked about going into the series for their hard points was how keen they are in giving up scrap time if it means they're going to win the rotation. If it means they're going to be able to set up, control spawns, get in a position to win the early time. They not only were able to break hills in between, but they were committed to the fundamental, and it paid off. That huge lead they built on the first 2 hills really propelled them through the middle of this game. Even when it looked scary, Ultra did their best, but Rokkr were just way too clean in the end.
Yeah, indeed. And, you know, the scoreline, it really seemed like, again, Rokkr Academy was in the driving seat the whole entire time. Realistically, the time that Ultra did fight for was the P4, P5 hill that they successfully held for, you know, majority. But each hill, it seemed like Ultra was just fighting for scrap or getting scrap time, really, from their points. But Rokkr Academy in the driving seat, of course, Rial zoning out forward, Metals, Journey, everybody did exactly what they needed to do. And they did it quite well. Kind of similar in the fashion that we've seen in the Control, just consistently picking up each other's lanes, trades. I mean, Journey, 23 non-traded kills, Metals, 21. We mentioned him just needing to step it up just a little bit for them to just be more comfortable. Essentially, they're already the best team, Sean, but now they're looking definitely more comfortable than last week.
I mean, they certainly are. And, they've proven they were the best team in Europe until Vengeance pretty much overtook their spot. But they're trying to make that statement yet again. And you could absolutely do it after this series. This is probably one of the more dominant performances they've had. Even though it was close, a win is a win in their book. They win it 3-1 against Ultra Academy. And a bit of a revenge from Cup 7, how Rokkr dominated the start of Season 2. Ultra finally gets some wins under their belt. But Rokkr yet again proved they are the better team in this matchup, with Lucky having a slow performance. Metals 30-23, a big turnaround and a big performance. We barely talked about him in the hard point, but he needed to have a good series. He's been kind of the quote-unquote weak link, which is still wild to say because he's still an excellent player on this team. But that's the scary thing about Rokkr. When they all start to get going, they are a tough team to beat, and they're able to take the series and move on to the winners finals. But for Ultra Academy, their run is not done. They get a second life. It's double elim, so they'll drop down to the lower side of the bracket. They go to lower round 2. If they win that, they move to lower finals. So for Rokkr, they can breathe for a bit now. They wait for the next matchup between Vengeance and Doge Nation. Regardless, though, they punch their ticket to the winners finals. I believe we will be seeing that today. And that's just a quality win all around for Rokkr, especially for the first game of the day.
Yeah, indeed. And, if you are Ultra Academy, it's still okay. Regardless, and even the previous map, Beans and Harry are doing their job. They're doing well. The ARs are playing good. They just need a little bit more dominance from the subs moving forward if they, again, want to come back here and play Rokkr Academy in the grand final. But regardless, just a little bit more pressure from the subs, and I think they'll be okay. Just do some VOD reviews. They still have another chance. And could this be a team to do it? Absolutely, they could. So just going overall through the series, again, dominant start on the Gavutu. You could take Rokkr on the Gavutu. You could take him on all the other maps that you had before, of course. Just got to figure it out. 6-3 on the Search and Destroy to Rokkr in the next 3, and 3-1 on that Control on Tuscan. Again, it was just Rokkr Academy covering each other's lanes, picking up everything, and just really setting the pace for the maps. Every single map, it seems like, from the Search. Realistically, every single map, they had control all across the board.
Yeah, I mean, outside of the Control itself, which was pretty handedly Rokkr's, and a couple of rounds in the Search, which the First Blood game, again, was all of Rokkr Academy. This series very easily, couple of different replays, could have been a game 5 where Toronto potentially take it. The game 1 was impressive. The last hard point we just watched on Berlin was about as close as you'd expect between these two teams, with both hills going opposite ways. But it really came down to that game 3. Like, the Control was so dominant from Rokkr. We expected the series to hinge essentially on Control. It did. Rokkr carried that momentum. They move into the hard point. They get the job done. They win the series. So this is a matchup we might be seeing in the grand final, all things considered. Regardless, for the moment, congratulations to Rokkr. Let's take a look at the bracket because, well, we have some updates we have to give you and get through. But Rokkr Academy, 3-1 win over Ultra. You just saw they moved to the winners finals. Vengeance and Doge had some tech issues trying to get into maps 2 and 3. I believe they are currently underway, so we will keep you updated when we can. But looking at the spread right now, loses round 1, Ultra Academy, somebody had to lose. I mean, this is the best of Europe battling to be the best of Europe, Ellen. Nothing too surprising right now.
Yeah, no, indefinitely. And I mean, I'm really curious. I mean, obviously, I personally, I'm just so excited to see who's going to be crowned the champion. But I mean, Rokkr, obviously, they want it. I'm really curious to see how this Vengeance and Doge Nation maps turns out already. Just for one, obviously, the big talk of how the heck did Doge Nation even get here? Essentially going from 0-4 and then winning all of their games last week. Completely flipping the script there. So yeah, just really curious. But regardless, for what it's worth, still, they're a team that essentially, Doge Nation's like that dark horse team, right? So going in against Vengeance, like, I don't know who's going to win that because, I mean, statistically, okay, we're going to say Vengeance. We're going to say Vengeance, but I don't know. Yeah. Doge Nation, regardless, I'm excited to see who wins that game. And I can't wait for more, Sean.
Oh, I'm super excited. And of course, I would love to know how the match is going. But we're going to go to a quick commercial break. When we come back, we will conclude with day 1 of the playoffs for Europe. You don't want to miss it. Ladies and gentlemen, welcome back to the playoffs for the Challengers Elite. Here's a bit of an update for you guys. An unfortunate one, but it happens. So, due to some technical issues outside of the team's control, we are unable to conclude and continue on with Europe's matches today here on the stream, which means we will be closing down the broadcast for the moment, and we will be coming back later tonight for North America at 6:30 Eastern. So all the European matches that were scheduled for today, we will just have to figure something out. But in general, we will continue on tomorrow with Europe at 2 Eastern at the same time per usual. So the same time we started today, same time tomorrow. But unfortunately, things happen as they do. Ellen, that means that we got one series under our belt. It was Rokkr Academy and Ultra Academy. Talk to me a little bit. Closing thoughts on that series. Rokkr able to clutch it up, get it the win over Ultra in pretty interesting fashion. They look pretty good right now, I guess you could say.
Yeah, indeed they do. I mean, they took the season 1 and they want season 2, and they're hungry for it. Whatever mistakes that they had from last week into this one, they've clearly done they look really good, really comfortable. And we already know the last 2 series, it was Toronto who took it, and now they did. So going forward, I'm excited to see what they're going to bring and who's going to play them next.
Yeah, I am very, very much looking forward to both their teams' performances. But again, we thank you for your understanding of the situation. And we will be back tonight at 6:30 Eastern for North America. So you don't want to miss that. Please stay tuned for that. And in general, we hope you guys have a good middle portion of your day. We'll see you tomorrow for Europe. Take care. We'll see you then.